The United States has just ignited a new economic war with China. What began as a trade adjustment has now turned into a direct confrontation between the two largest powers on the planet. The White House announced 100% tariffs on Chinese products, impacting everything: electronics, electric cars, solar panels, machinery, and medical equipment. The administration presents it as a response to China's restrictions on rare earth exports. But everyone knows this goes far beyond trade. This is a battle for control of the 21st century economy. The impact was immediate. Global markets plunged. The S&P 500 lost nearly $2 trillion, while shares of Apple and Tesla, both dependent on Chinese production, fell more than 3%. In Asia, Japan's Nikkei dropped 4%, and Hong Kong's Hang Seng lost over 5%. In just hours, economic tension turned into global fear. Trump defended the measure in his usual tone. If China wants a fight, the United States is ready. His words echoed around the world and triggered what everyone feared: Beijing's response. China's Ministry of Commerce warned it would take decisive countermeasures. Among them, restricting the export of critical minerals like lithium and neodymium, essential for making semiconductors, batteries, and advanced technology. And here's the key: China controls 90% of the world's processing of those materials. An internal report from the U.S. Department of Energy revealed that American reserves could only sustain the tech industry for 7 months if China cut supply. After that, entire factories would shut down. In Washington, opinions are deeply divided. Trump's allies see this as a chance to rebuild America's manufacturing power. They speak of reindustrializing the nation and breaking free from Beijing's control. That's why the administration is offering incentives for companies to move production from China to India, Vietnam, and Mexico. The goal: surround China and reassert U.S. industrial dominance. But not everyone agrees. Big Tech warns that isolating from China could send costs soaring and slow innovation. Meanwhile, unions and factory workers celebrate the move as a long-overdue victory. For the first time in decades, they say, Washington is standing with American industry. In Beijing, though, the message is very different. The Chinese government sees these measures as economic aggression. Xi Jinping is reportedly weighing 3 responses: selling U.S. Treasury bonds, restricting tech exports, and expanding China's military presence in the South China Sea. A triple strategy: economic, diplomatic, and military, that could reshape the global balance of power. The Pentagon reacted with a message of its own. U.S. Navy ships are now patrolling the Pacific, a clear sign that trade tensions are spilling into military waters. Analysts warn that this rivalry could split the global economy in two. Multinationals are already restructuring supply chains. One system for the Western world, another for the Chinese bloc. The result: higher costs, rising prices, and growing uncertainty. And while the two giants clash, Canada is caught in the middle. Prime Minister Mark Carney is trying to balance between his top trading partner, the United States, and his second-largest market, China. But the fallout is already here. China hit back at U.S. tariffs by sanctioning Canadian canola exports. Canada responded with 100% tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles. The effects were immediate. Agricultural exports slowed to a crawl, and manufacturing began to suffer. The hardest blow came from the auto industry. A new 25% U.S. tariff on foreign-built vehicles pushed Stellantis, the parent company of Chrysler, to shut down its plants in Ontario and move production to Illinois. 3,000 workers lost their jobs. The Canadian government had invested $15 billion in subsidies to keep those plants running, but the company crossed the border anyway. Trump celebrated it as a win for American jobs. For Canada, it was a direct hit. The Unifor Union accused the government of surrendering the auto industry and demanded protection measures. The Prime Minister announced a $5 billion emergency fund, but the damage was already done. EV sales dropped 39% in the second quarter, and canola prices collapsed. Thousands of families now fear losing their livelihoods. On a global scale, this conflict is redrawing alliances. China is strengthening the BRICS bloc and promoting the use of the yuan and ruble in energy trade. Over 30 countries now operate outside the dollar system, weakening one of the pillars of American power. Meanwhile, Washington is pressuring allies to stand united against Beijing. The result: a divided world. What was once a system of interconnected trade is becoming a race for self-sufficiency. Each country is trying to secure its own resources, protect its industries, and control its markets. And in that process, the old global order is falling apart. So the question is clear. Who will last longer in this economic war? China, with its dominance over manufacturing and critical minerals? Or the United States, with its financial strength, advanced technology, and global alliances? In between, countries like Canada find themselves in an impossible position. Follow Washington and risk losing China. Or seek independence and face American pressure. It's a no-win scenario. This is not a war fought with weapons. It's a war fought with tariffs, resources, and economic decisions. And its effects are already reaching every corner of the planet. The free trade era that defined the past 3 decades is ending. And with it, the illusion of a truly globalized world. What's coming next is different. A fragmented, expensive, and unstable economy. And while the superpowers prepare to endure, millions of workers, farmers, and small businesses worldwide are paying the price of a war they never chose. So the questions remain. Should Canada keep supporting Trump's tariffs, or chart its own course? And can the United States maintain its leadership if the global economy keeps dividing in two? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you want to understand how power decisions are reshaping the world, subscribe to Critical Point and turn on notifications. Because here, we analyze power without filters.